Please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this inquiry. Please reply with I do.
I do.
Thank you. The oath has been administered, sir.
Thank you, Comsec. May I hear a motion from to extend the inquiry pursuant to our rules?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, the Honorable Paduano is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, pursuant to our rules, may I respectfully move to extend the inquiry. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second to the motion of the Paduano? Is there any objection to the motion? Hearing none, the motion is hereby carried. We will now resume the deliberation on the measures referred to the joint committee. But before we do that, the representative of Google, are you going to present something?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
with the indulgence of the chair and the members of this committee. Mr. Chairman, since we have first time to attend this hearing, those invited resource persons, can we ask them, Mr. Chairman, their presence and their circumstances? If they really represent, or they're really invited, or they're just representing somebody in this hearing, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for the reminder, Your Honor. Comsec, please acknowledge the resource persons present in this morning's hearing, including the new ones.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. The following members are present today. The following resource persons are present. From the Anti-Money Laundering Council, Attorney Emmet Rodion Manantan and Attorney Erano Dumale.
From the Bureau of Internal Revenue, Attorney Tobias Gavin Arcilia
and Attorney Ron Michael V. Uy. From the Philippine Coast Guard, Commodore J. Tariela. From the Department of Information and Communications Technology, Director Jose Carlos Reyes, Director Maria Cristina Abalos Naig, and Ms. Christine Applepre. From the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center, Attorney Wench Chu, and Director Rojun Hosilios, the Director for Cybercrime Operations. From the Department of Justice, Office of Cybercrime, Attorney Rodanji Parocha, together with State Counsel Christian Bautista and State Counsel Gerald Vincent Sosa. From the National Bureau of Investigation, Cybercrime Division, Attorney Van Homer Angluben. From the National Telecommunications Commission, Attorney Kathleen Egipto. From the Philippine National Police, the Director of the Anti-Cybercrime Group, Police Brigadier General Bernard Yang. And from the Legal Service, Police Lieutenant Colonel Anacleto Daliva. Also from the PNP, Colonel Columbo Alan Aberia and Colonel Nova de Castro Aglipay. From the Kapisanan ng mga Broadcaster ng Pilipinas, Attorney Rudolph Hularbal, Legal Counsel.
From Press 1 PH, Mr. Felipe Salvosa and Mr. Nico Bedina. From Google Philippines, Attorney Yves Gonzalez, Head of the Government Affairs and Public Policy. Your Honor, several social media personalities were invited. Present today are Ms. Maria Lourdes Tiquia, Mr. Ross Flores del Rosario, and Mr. Elijah San Fernando. And also Attorney Claire Castro. From the Philippine Daily Inquirer, Ms. Juliet Haveliana. From the Social Weather Survey, Ms. Linda Guerrero. From Scam Watch Philippines, Mr. Josel de Guzman. And finally, former colleague, Congressman Sylvester Bellio.
That's all for now, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Comsec. The members of the three committees present this morning are the following.
Chairman Joboy Aquino,
Yours truly, the Honorable Raul Daniel Manuel, the Honorable Rodante Marcoleta, the Honorable Joseph Stephen Caras Paduano, the Honorable Zia Raman Adeong, the Honorable Robert H. Barbers, and the Honorable Ramon Rodrigo L. Gutierrez. Welcome po kayo sa hearing. Now, the representative of Google Philippines, are you present? Do you have a presentation to make?
Mr. Chair, we do.
Yes. How many minutes would that take?
Around, Mr. Chair, around 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, once again, I would indulge the chairman and members of this committee. May I ask Attorney Gonzalez your position in the Google?
Mr. Chairman, I'm Yves Gonzalez, Head of Government Affairs and Public Policy for Google in the Philippines.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Please proceed, Attorney Gonzalez.
Mr. Chairman, good morning. So once again, I'm Yves Gonzalez, Head of Government Affairs and Public Policy for Google in the Philippines. It's an honor to be able to share with you today how YouTube combats the spread of misinformation on the platform using our 4 R's responsibility framework. This is something that we consider core to our responsibility work. It is a complex and difficult challenge, but something that we're committed to tackling. YouTube's mission is to give everyone a voice and show them the world. Over the past 20 years, YouTube has grown into a platform where billions of monthly users are sharing and learning from one another with over 500 hours of video uploaded every minute. YouTube addresses the challenges of misinformation using the 4 R's responsibility framework. Remove content that violates YouTube's policies, raise up authoritative sources for news and information, reduce recommendations of borderline content, and reward trusted creators. By employing this framework, YouTube seeks to balance its commitments to preserving an open internet and being a positive contributor to a safe, healthy, and well-informed society. Certain types of misleading or deceptive content with serious risk of egregious harm are not allowed on YouTube and are removed. This includes certain types of misinformation that can cause real-world harm, election misinformation, and medical misinformation. General misinformation includes certain types of technically manipulated content that can cause real-world harm, such as content that has been technically manipulated or doctored in a way that misleads users and may pose a serious risk of egregious harm, for example, deepfakes. Misattributed content that may pose a serious risk of egregious harm by falsely claiming that footage from a past event is from a current one, which experts on this committee have previously referred to as malinformation. We also prohibit certain types of content that may negatively impact free and fair democratic elections. This can include content that could materially discourage voting, content that advances false claims related to the technical eligibility requirements for current political candidates, and incitement to interfere with democratic processes. YouTube also doesn't allow content that poses a serious risk of harm by spreading medical misinformation that contradicts local health authorities or the World Health Organization's guidance. Enforcing policies is a nuanced decision-making process. It is important to underscore that YouTube protects videos that have a clear educational, documentary, scientific, and artistic purpose, together called EDSA exceptions. To help determine whether a video might qualify for an EDSA exception, we look at multiple factors, including the video title, descriptions, and the context provided in the video's audio or imagery. But this is not a free pass to spread harmful misinformation or promote hateful rhetoric. Everyone is subject to our community guidelines, from private citizens to the most visible public figures. we release a quarterly community guidelines enforcement report, which gives insights into the volume of flags and actions we take on content that violates our policies and the impact that technology has in aiding that enforcement. In the third quarter of 2024, we removed over 9.1 million videos for violating our policies, 4.8 million channels, and 1.3 billion comments. In the third quarter of 2024, over 80,000 videos globally were removed for violating our misinformation policies. Content that violates our guidelines is flagged by a mix of automated detection and human reporting. Around 97% were automatically flagged by AI systems, 2% were flagged by users, and 1% flagged by organizations and government agencies. In addition to removing content that violates our policies, we also track the percentage of views on YouTube that are generated by this content. We refer to this metric as the violative view rate, or VVR. VVR is our North Star for measuring our progress on removing content that violates community guidelines as quickly as possible. In the third quarter of 2024, the VVR was 0.11% until 0.12%, meaning that for every 10,000 views of content on YouTube, only 11 to 12 of those views are of violative content. YouTube also elevates authoritative sources for news and information and provides context for viewers. YouTube raises authoritative voices for newsworthy events in search results and watch panels. Another example is the breaking news shelf. When a major breaking news event happens, the breaking news shelf appears directly on the homepage, featuring relevant videos from authoritative news sources. Similarly, if a viewer searches for a particular news topic on YouTube, they will see a top news shelf near the top of the results, featuring relevant videos from authoritative sources. The same goes for health-related searches. When you search for a specific topic, such as diabetes, for example, our health content shelf will highlight videos that come from authoritative sources. YouTube also equips our users with additional context to help them make their own decisions about the content that they consume. To do this, YouTube highlights text-based information about certain events, topics, and publishers from third-party sources using information panels across YouTube. This can be related to evergreen topics prone to misinformation, or to provide information about the publishers themselves, for example, whether they are funded in whole or in part by a government. Across all of these topics, we aim to surface content that would be helpful to individual users. YouTube now also requires creators to disclose to viewers when realistic content a viewer could easily mistake for a real person, place, scene, or event, is made with altered or synthetic media, including generative AI. Labels that reflect this disclosure will then appear. For most videos, a label will appear in the expanded description. But for videos that touch on more sensitive topics like health, news, elections, or finance, YouTube will also show a more prominent label on the video itself. In some cases, YouTube may also add a label even when a creator hasn't disclosed it, especially if the use of altered or synthetic content has the potential to confuse or mislead viewers. Just as we work to raise authoritative content where accuracy and authoritativeness are key, we also strive to reduce the spread of content that, while not violating our policies, can still misinform users in harmful ways. This might include conspiracy theory videos or content that brushes the line of what is acceptable. While this content can remain on YouTube, we don't recommend it to users or surface it prominently in search results. Finally, for 15 years, YouTube has had a revenue sharing model, the YouTube Partner Program, or YPP. YouTube views monetization on its platform as a privilege. Creators must be accepted into YPP to be eligible to monetize their content. A key eligibility requirement for YPP is to follow YouTube's monetization policies, which include our community guidelines, terms of service, and advertiser-friendly guidelines. These policies apply to creators' channels as a whole and not just to individual videos. Over the past few years, YouTube has taken steps to strengthen the requirement for monetization so that spammers, impersonators, and other bad actors can't hurt the system or take advantage of creators meeting the eligibility requirements. Because of this unique model, YouTube has a natural, long-term incentive to live up to its responsibility. Advertisers, viewers, creators, and media partners do not want to be associated with harmful content. YouTube works hard every day to make the right calls on balancing openness and responsibility, and its advertisers, users, and creators hold YouTube accountable. For more information, we are sharing these 3 links for the benefit of the committee. With that, thank you again, Mr. Chairman, for this opportunity to share our inputs with this committee today. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Yves Gonzalez. Would there be any questions from the members of the committee?
Mr. Chairman, just a clarification.
Yes, Barber's record.
Yes, Attorney Gonzalez, would you be able to tell this committee kung how many of our bloggers or the ones that use the YouTube social media platform are able to monetize? Would you be able to tell us that? And if you can, what is the ballpark figure of the amount of the revenues that these vloggers make?
Mr. Chairman, I think tens of thousands of Filipino creators are in the YouTube partnership program.
And all of them are monetizing?
Once you are in the YouTube partnership program, then that means that you are monetizing your content.
And would you be able to tell us, give us a ballpark figure as to how much revenues do these vloggers make?
I think the Google, as a public company, is able to disclose its revenues, but I would not have the ability to give you the specific details for the
I
Philippines.
understand, yeah. But the reason why I asked that, Mr. Chair, is because we'd like to find out what motivates the vloggers, the so-called vloggers. I'm not generalizing, but what I'm saying is that there are very few of them who actually are motivated by the monetization by these social media platforms. And the only objective is to generate engagements, a higher number of engagements, in order to convert this to cash. Tama, di ba? I think that's the motivation of some of these bloggers who peddle fake news. And you know naman how it is. No? When a fake news is being posted online, people has different reactions. One would probably, if one sees it, probably would say, "Totoo ba ito?" Or the other would say, "Totoo ito. Kasi galing ito kay ganyan." Or would say na, "Teka nga, tanong ko nga kay ipasa ko ito." So that creates engagements and increases the number of people who actually has seen a post that could be fake or could be false. So, anong mechanism meron si YouTube to be able to limit, if not eliminate, these kinds of peddling of falsehoods?
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to share some relevant provisions of the advertiser-friendly guidelines which all YouTube creators need to comply with. So some of the things prohibited are inappropriate language, shocking content, hateful and derogatory content, as well as incendiary and demeaning content.
Does YouTube recognize vulgar languages or let's say yung pagmumura? Does YouTube consider this as obscene, vulgar, therefore gives them the right to take it down?
In certain cases, that might fall under incendiary and demeaning. So let me just read what is stated. Content that is gratuitously incendiary, inflammatory, or demeaning may not be suitable for advertising.
Okay, so kasi the reason why I asked that, parang it seems that napapabayaan natin yung mga nagmumura. Di ba? Kung yung taong na nagmumura, na gumagamit, nagpo-post ng kanilang mga content online ay nagmumura, karakter na ho nila yun. Maaaring pinalaki sila ng mga magulang nila na pinayagan silang magmura. Pero the question is there a mechanism? Yung YouTube ba, pagka nakita niyang nagmumura, ano ba yan? Kahit man lang sana yung di ba? Yung mayroong ano tawag doon? Yung imbes na nagpatuloy nagmumura, parang yung parang ini-stop yung word na yun or something. Meron ba kayong ganong mechanism?
So as mentioned, if the content of the creator is already violative of our advertiser-friendly guidelines, YouTube might enforce some monetization policies.
Yes, but do they recognize yung vulgar languages na Tagalog, which gives them a ground to take it down? Do they recognize that?
YouTube does have language experts in Filipino and other local dialects.
So these are not AI generated. Kumbaga, hindi nila tira-translate. Walang mechanism na
We use a
ganun.
combination of both machine learning and AI-assisted technologies, but at the same time, we also do have human reviewers who are fluent in the local dialects.
Nasa human reviewers. So it's still dependent pa rin siya sa mga human reviewers.
Combination, Your Honor.
Okay, kasi alam mo, I'm sure you will agree with me na maraming mga vloggers na para lang maka-generate ng mapansin, ika nga, no? Nagmumura, no? In fact, bastos di ba? Hindi naman natin sila masisisi o hindi natin masisisi kung paano sila pinalaki ng kanilang mga magulang dahil siguro, pinalaki silang bastos di ba? Yun nga ang sinabi sa akin ni Congressman Marcoleta na hindi dapat ganun. Dahil alam mo, tinuturuan natin yung ating mga anak na maging magalang, di ba? Na maging respectful. Hindi yung vulgar na bastos. Di ba, aling batikusin ka, huwag ka lang magmumura. Kasi subukan mong sabihin sa akin harapan yung ganun. Anong pakiramdam mo? Di ba? Pero kung online, kung magmura, kala mo ang tapang. Di ba? Kaya nga sabi ni Congressman Marcoleta sa akin, hindi dapat pinapayagan niya mga ganon. Because we have laws. Lalo na kung defamatory. Tapos may kasama pang mura. Bakit hindi kayo magmura harapan, di ba? Pupunta kayo rito, hanapin nyo kami, magmura kayo, something like that. Tingnan natin ano mangyayari. Away itong mangyayari. Kung magharap-harapan kayo at nagmumurahan kayo, di ba? Alam mo naman, hindi naman normal yung ganon. Ngayon, because of the advent of social media, people like perhaps maybe expressing their dissent, or maybe dislike to a person, to an institution, to an organization by using vulgar language. Di ba? Siguro, pagka ganun yung tao na mura ng mura, hindi mo naman natin masabing walang pinag-aralan yan. Wala lang pinagkatandaan malamang. No? At hindi dinidisiplina ng magulang niya. Kawawa ang magulang nun. Nakakahiya. Di ba? Nakakahiya na yung anak mo bastos, ganyan. Kung magsalita pa ng mga kabastusan, parang walang anak na mga babae. And that is the reason why I asked that if ever there are mechanisms in that social platform that can control that. If not, that's fine. That's okay.
Mr. Chair, so let me reiterate, all content monetizing with ads must follow our advertiser-friendly content guidelines. And one of the advertiser-friendly guidelines is inappropriate language. Content that contains profanity or vulgarity at the start or throughout the majority of the video may not be suitable for advertising. And some of the enforcement mechanisms that can happen to a creator that violates these policies are: number 1, withhold, adjust, charge back, or offset earnings or payment. Number 2, limit ad revenue from the video. Number 3, suspend participation in the YouTube partnership program. And finally, suspend or even terminate the YouTube channel.
Okay. Last question, Mr. Chair. I hope you don't mind. My colleagues would not mind. I just wanted to ask, why do you monetize? Why? What is the logic behind monetization? Because if you monetize, this probably is the main motivator or the main motivation of these people who are engaged in these kinds of ads in the YouTube. Bakit kayo nagmo-monetize?
Mr. Chair, monetization through advertising is what pays for the service. So the ability for YouTube to be able to provide a free service to billions of people all around the world is supported by advertising.
So basically, it's advertising.
That's correct.
So commercial. Tama? So talagang generation of revenues. Di ba? So that's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Attorney.
Any other member who would like to ask questions from Attorney Gonzalez? Mr. Chair, not a question, but a clarification. Clarification, Mr. Chair, just to clarify for the committee, wala po yung TikTok and si Facebook. Mr. Chair, just to clarify, wala pong Facebook and TikTok attending po today. No? Sir?
Legal counsel representing Meta Platform.
To answer your question, Your Honor, we have invited the Meta Platform Incorporated, which has Facebook, and according to the letter, Facebook Philippines does not own, operate, control, or host the Facebook services or the Instagram services in the Philippines. So I think, Your Honor, we have to send an invitation to Meta Platform Incorporated in the United States.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. We just wanted to see clarification po, no? What other platforms are
Okay, thank you. Before we proceed, please allow the chair to recognize the presence of the Honorable Franz Castro, and online, the Honorable Arnan Panaligan. Welcome po kayo sa hearing.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, before you proceed, Your Honor, and online we also have the presence of the Honorable Romanti Romulo. Please proceed, Honorable Castro.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. Follow up lang, Mr. Chair, dun sa questions ni Representative Barbers as regards to the monetization of content sa online, no? Particularly YouTube, right? So, I'm just curious po. So, namamonetize po yung, depende yun sa viewers, tama ba? Or sa advertisement na pumapasok doon sa content noong content creator. Are you saying? Kasi sabi niyo po, may na-monetize yung mga content noong mga creators. So, based doon sa mga pumapasok na advertisement. So, the whole thing is advertisement. Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, monetization happens primarily through advertisements that appear on videos either before or in the middle of the video.
Yeah, so who got to pay or who pay the content creator? Kasi, di ba sinasabi na monetize. So, sino ang nagbabayad sa kanila?
Si Google LLC po, the main entity based in the United States, is the one that pays.
So,
YouTube
in dollar,
Yes.
converted to peso. So, would you know paano po nakukuha yung tax? So, kung meron mang tax na nade-derive from that income, sa mga content creator? Would you know, Sir Chair?
Mr. Chair, so the creators nominate a bank account for their earnings, and the creators would usually be the ones to voluntarily declare their taxes with their local internal revenue service.
So, lahat po ng nababayarang mga content creator, are you monitoring din po kung they are paying taxes to our government?
Mr. Chair, on the part of YouTube, we do not, and we believe that the local internal revenue service are the ones who are monitoring that.
So, do we have, Mr. Chair, invited guests from the BIR or resource person from the BIR, Mr. Chair?
We have, Your Honor.
So, may I ask the BIR, how do you monitor po yung mga income, mga taxes derived from the income generated by the content creator, Mr. Chair?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, as stated by our colleague, we rely only on the voluntary declaration of the influencers insofar as their income, because there will be great difficulty in monitoring the same, considering that their income primarily comes from foreign income payers. So what we do, Mr. Chair, is we audit and investigate the influencers, and we request data from the foreign tax jurisdictions who we have existing treaties of exchange of information with, and we cross-check or we compare the information that we receive from foreign tax jurisdictions or the other countries and their declared income tax returns. And from there, we determine how much they really earn and how much they really declared. That's it, sir.
Mr. Chair, at the BIR, are we not doing our job well or we remiss? Kasi bakit sinasabi yung voluntary? Kasi andyan naman yung yung platform, yung Google Philippines o yung YouTube. You can ask from them yung mga list ng mga nag-generate ng income. So bakit nag-aantay tayo ng voluntary from the content creator? Di ba, Mr. Chair, meron na tayong naipasang batas for that. So, can you clarify that, BIR? So, pwede po bang, parang hindi po kasi ako satisfied doon sa voluntary lang na na ginagawa. At kayo naman ay parang nag-aantay lang.
Mr. Chair, just to clarify, under existing tax laws, we cannot just investigate any taxpayer. As per existing tax laws, audits are done randomly or based on those who are classified as high risk. That is why we cannot just audit any taxpayer. So we prioritize those who are only classified as high risk.
So, why not? Baka merong loopholes, Mr. Chair, doon sa ating batas, doon sa BIR. Kasi nga, di ba gusto natin talaga na to generate revenue from those engagements. So, yun na po, Mr. Chair, yung follow-up natin sa YouTube. So, yun na lang po, Mr. Chair. Baka in our in aid of legislation, we have to review yung sinasabi ng ating BIR resource person na wala doon sa kanilang mandate, yung talagang regular ba o random lang yung kanilang pag-investigate and monitoring, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Your Honor. BIR, what exactly is the law governing this?
Mr. Chair, the tax code as amended and our implementing rules and regulations, or the revenue regulations, Mr. Chair.
Are you aware of Revenue Memorandum Circular number 97-2021?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
O hindi po ba yun yung, ano po ba ang title ng Memorandum Circular na yun?
Mr. Chair, taxation of any income received by social media influencers.
So it's very specific na ito ang kwan. Sinusunod po ng BIR
Yes, Mr. Chair.
vis-a-vis tax payments of social media influencers.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Now, may I know if you have been implementing this since 2021?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Could you please submit to this committee a report of how many social media influencers have been taxed by BIR?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We will submit, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Mr.
ma'am?
Chair,
Yes.
just a clarification again sa YouTube, no? Paano nagkakaroon ng monetization? It may required number of views, shares, hours. Please educate us. How do they monetize that?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, let me just share some of the requirements for the YouTube Partnership Program. So, number one, definitely the first is to follow the YouTube channel monetization policies. Some of it I've provided. In terms of technical eligibility, so the requirement is, number one, get 1,000 subscribers with 4,000 valid public watch hours in the last 12 months. So again, 1,000 subscribers with 4,000 valid public watch hours in the last 12 months.
Oh, wait, question. So, assuming I put up my own YouTube channel, is that what you call it?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair.
And then I must have, 1,000 subscribers
That's the first step.
and 4,000 hours of
4,000 valid public watch hours. And when we say this, Mr. Chair, kasi for example, if your watch hours are bots, then that would not be a valid public watch hour. If you're trying to game the system,
would you be able to determine whether these are bots or not?
so YouTube would have the necessary technical capabilities.
So you have that technical capability.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, ang tanong, next question, ano naman ang accountability halimbawa ng YouTube? Assuming that your channel is being used as a purveyor of fake news, and then you discovered that merong anong accountability ng platform?
So, Mr. Chair, again, I guess depends on the jurisdiction that would be concerned. So, for example, Mr. Chair, if of course, Mr. Chair, it would be different if the channel is in the United States versus in Singapore, for example, which has POFMA, as discussed in the previous hearing. So, Mr. Chair, depends on the laws in the jurisdiction of the channel concerned.
And it's like, it's as if you're saying that we're helpless in trying to impose accountability to the platform kapag ka ito ay abroad, no?
No, Mr. Chair, no naman. I'll give an example, Mr. Chair. The Philippines passed a law against OSAIC, expanded OSAIC law. And on the expanded OSAIC law, there are specific platform obligations on
WA
that law.
has the strongest
And so
economy
in
in
that
the country.
specific
Only
expanded
WA Labor
OSAIC
has the
law,
experience to do
it
what's right in
imposes
WA.
liability and accountability on the
Witness your child